These premises, we are packing everything here to the court. That's the writ of attachment here.
Team later proceeded to Moth Hotel, still in Okitipupa, as the hotel was found wanting in payment of over 100 million naira tax debt to the state government. The leader of the team, Gregory Afuwakpe, said the ODIRS acted on strict orders from the court to seal off the business premises of tax defaulters.
We got judgment against the taxpayer. We thought he would come around for the settlement of the liability, but he failed. And that's why when the judgment matured for execution, that's why we are here. That's why we are here. We have every document to back us up that this judgment was made under a statutory authority, that is the judiciary.
Mr. Afuwakpe cautioned defaulters against flouting the order of court, as it will come with consequences.
If the money owing is paid today, this place will be, the seal will be removed from here by court order. It is the order of court, and whosoever that breaks it, it is what we call obstruction in law. And it will be contempt of court, so which is more than 21 years imprisonment.
The exercise was also taken to Ore, where an eatery, Anambra Kitchen, was also sealed off for default in payment of 120,000 naira tax sum. The exercise will extend to the 3 senatorial districts of Ondo State. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
Says it will redesign the 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira notes. CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele at a special press briefing in Abuja said the new design and issues will be effective from December 15, 2022. While advising Nigerians to take old notes to banks for the new notes, Emefiele said that the action was taken in order to take control of the currency in circulation. According to him, the bulk of the nation's currency notes was outside bank vaults, and the CBN would not allow the situation to continue. It was an exhilarating moment for the over 350 new intakes for the 2022-2023 academic session of Adigbola Memorial Grammar School, Akure, as they were officially welcomed into the school system. Principal of the school, Mrs. Fadikemi Jobodo, led the teachers and students in congratulating the new intakes for the privilege to be admitted into the citadel of learning. Omonio Lahungbiji reports that new school prefects to complement management efforts in directing the affairs of the school for the next 1 year were also inaugurated.
So I Memorial Grammar School, the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
It is another walk-in ceremony of the Adigbola Memorial Grammar School for new candidates. As usual with the procession, drums were rolled out to celebrate their acceptance into the school. A legal practitioner, Shegun Rotiba, anchored the oath of allegiance to the new students.
To be punctual in school, you have to obey the rules and regulations of the school. I do solemnly swear that I will be faithful.
Addressing them, the school principal, Mrs. Fadikemi Jobodo, congratulated them for the privilege to be admitted into the school, saying education is prioritized in Adigbola Memorial Grammar School, Akure. She encouraged them to make good use of the numerous opportunities which abound to better their future.
Don't play, laugh, but make sure you don't joke with your studies. Don't toy with your future, and remember your Creator in the day of your youth. You can see how much I love you. I put on the same uniform as you do. We are together. All I could see around me are doctors. Say amen. They are lawyers. I can see engineers. I can see future world leaders. And I can see teachers and principals like me.
Other teachers speak on the rules and regulations that guide the conduct of students in their school, charging them to abide by the rules and regulations of the school.
Shun courtesy, don't be involved in premarital sex and the dating of opposite sex. You don't still obey the school rules and regulations.
The school bells. The first one goes in the 7:30, around 7:30 in the morning. You have to obey it. That one is telling you to come to the assembly.
Since there is law, there is sin. If they have done something contrary against the rules and regulations of the school, they will be dealt with.
Feeding is important to these students. Most of them come to school with empty stomach, no food. We have to gather money in the school and feed them. So I'm begging our parents to ensure that these students take at least their breakfast before coming to school.
20 new prefects were also given portfolios for the smooth running of the 2022-2023 academic session.
I want to work together. I want to reach our limits. Working together because this can't be done alone. So it's a team work to work together with the other prefects. I'm very sure that God's grace I'm going to achieve our aim.
High points of the event include cultural display, comedy session, and drama presentation. Omoriola Mbiji, Osrc News.
The West African Examination Council says all its important documents and records were not affected by the fire incidents that took place at its national office in Yaba, Lagos today. In a statement by its head, Public Affairs Department Muyosola Adishino, the fire incident was swiftly contained by a combined team of firefighters. The statement also confirmed that no life was lost. You are still watching Osrc News at 7. After the break, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay with us.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Adeshegun Fatusi, on behalf of the management and university community, cordially invites friends of the university and the general public to the 9th distinguished lecture titled Connecting Medicine and Literature, Reflections of the University System and Health Profession Education in Nigeria. Date, Friday, 28 October 2022. Time, 11 a.m. Venue, New Lecture Theatre, Medical Village Campus, University of Medical Sciences, Laije Medical Village, Ondo City, Ondo State, Nigeria. Distinguished lecturer, Dr. Wale Okediran, a medical practitioner, an award-winning author, Secretary General of Pan-African Writers Association, and the former member, Federal House of Representatives. Special guest of honor, Arakunrin Warotimi Odunayo Akeredolu SAN, Governor of Ondo State. Dr. Woleola J. Ekundayo, Registrar and Announcer.
Thank you very much for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on our Facebook OSRC TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. The Federal High Court, presided by Justice Evelyn Ayadike, has ordered the federal government to restore Nnamdi Kanu to his status quo before 19th June 2021. In today's ruling on fundamental human rights and extraordinary rendition of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, she also ordered the government to pay 500 million naira as damages to him. The court, in its further rulings, issued an injunction restraining the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, from prosecuting Kanu consequent upon his extraordinary rendition. Kanu had in March this year filed a suit through his special counsel, Aloy Ejimako, to enforce his fundamental rights stemming from what Ejimako had termed his extraordinary rendition from Kenya in June last year. In its judgment, the court dismissed the federal government's objections to its jurisdiction and upheld all the reliefs sought by Kanu. Speaking after the judgment, Ejimako called on the federal government to promptly comply with the judgment, more particularly the part that requires Kanu to be returned to Kenya. The Independent National Electoral Commission has disclosed that 23 of its registration officers are currently facing disciplinary actions for their involvement in illegal continuous voters registration. The INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, at the fourth quarterly consultative meeting with leaders of political parties in Abuja, said the commission deployed thousands of its staff to carry out thorough CBR. However, few failed to comply. The INEC chairman said the commission would continue to protect the voters' register, hence the need to discipline errant staff. Meanwhile, ahead of the general election in 2023, the Independent National Electoral Commission says that preliminary registered voters in Nigeria now stand at 93.5 million. The commission explained that 9,518,188 new voters were added to the existing register of 84,004,084 voters. With the prevalence of insecurity, Boko Haram insurgency, kidnapping for ransom, social vices, using people for rituals, internet frauds in Nigeria, there is an urgent need for revitalization and restoration for a new Nigeria. The STAX, Peace, Unity, Restoration and Prosperity Global Foundation has taken with passion as they held their official inauguration of Rebuilding Nigeria 360 movement on the state chapter. Oluseyi Akinwalere reports that the event, which held at the Federal College of Agriculture International Conference Center, had as its theme Rebirthing Brand New Nigeria Nation, a national priority.
Foundation has a vision to redeem, revive, rebuild, redirect, and rebirth a new nation that its citizens will be proud of. With the current challenges bedeviling the country, this advocacy that aims to achieve responsible leadership and followership came at the right time. The founder of Rebuild Nigeria 360 Degrees, Jeffrey Abidoye, said, Nigeria is a nation with potentials, opportunities, and there is a need to forge ahead for a better country without leaving any sector behind.
Some have become Uncle Andrew checking out of the country. We are going to stay here to till the ground. We're going to begin to plant our seed of success in the arches of inadequacies of leadership over time, to ensure that we turn the good, the bad, and the ugly around, to ensure that Nigeria become 2050 by the mercies of the Most High, the creator and the owner of Nigeria. Nigeria will become the most sought after country in the world. This is precisely what Rebuild Nigeria 360 Degrees seeks to address.
In his address, the state chief model Rebuild Nigeria 360 Degrees, John Kolawole, called for the citizenry to collectively seek ways to rebrand Nigeria.
It's a collective responsibility that we all need to tell ourselves about the beautiful thing God of heaven and earth has done for Nigeria, and our own responsibility to ensure that these beautiful things, this good weather, this beautiful soil becomes a blessing to us.
Mr. Jeffrey Abidoye inaugurated Support and Advisory Committee to include members holding strategic positions from the 18 local government areas of the state. Some of the inaugurated members stressed the need for people to stay in the country and work towards building it instead of migrating to other countries in pursuit of opportunities.
There are women in 18 local governments of Ondo State will be part of this project as far as I'm concerned, by the grace of God. We will see this project as our baby. We will see this project as a project that we are supposed to leverage on.
Encourage others through my character, through my attitude, to encourage others to influence others positively towards a good Nigeria. A Nigeria we shun vote buying, a Nigeria that will not be corrupt, a Nigeria that will not be greedy.
Others promise to propagate the news of a new Nigeria as long as a leader passionate about the nation is elected.
Like what I told them, that if they can go into grassroots or secondary schools or higher institutions to let them know that this is what is going on in Nigeria, and with prayer, everything will be okay.
It begins with each and every one of us doing the needful, having a positive mindset about the nation, being determined to be the change that we see, and also to ensure that we brought this change to our various actions.
Rebuild Nigeria 360 degrees movement also bestowed upon Governor Olaratimi Akeredolu, Grand Commander on Ondo State of Rebuild Nigeria 360 degrees movement, his wife, Grandmother of our nation, Ondo State, likewise other members in various categories. Olusheye Akinwalere, Very South News.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, has confirmed the distribution of relief items to 21 states affected by the floods. The minister made this known at a briefing to keep the public abreast of response and interventions made so far by the federal government on the flood situation across the country. Umar Farouk stated that the distribution of food and non-food items to other states were already ongoing. According to Farouk, the 21 states that have received relief materials so far include Abia, Adamawa, Anambra, Bayelsa, Ekiti, Enugu, FCT, Imo, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Oyo, Sokoto, Taraba, and Yobe. According to her, specialized teams are on ground in some states and local governments that are inaccessible and hard to reach. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed Nigeria's readiness to become a global hub for sustainable manufacturing and distribution of vaccine and biological pharmaceuticals to support initiatives to keep all of mankind safe. The president also called for the speedy takeoff of local production of mRNA vaccines after the World Health Organization (WHO) selected Nigeria as one of 6 African countries to receive technology needed to produce the vaccines. Addressing the World Bio Summit 2022, Buhari pledged commitment to global response to known or emerging pathogens, including the global vaccine assurance ecosystem and equitable access for all. He told the meeting jointly convened by the government of South Korea and WHO to discuss the future of vaccines and biohealth across the globe that Nigeria would continue to explore bilateral, multilateral, and other opportunities for cutting-edge technology as a center of excellence for vaccine manufacturing and distribution. The United States Department of State has granted authorized departure status to American citizens and embassy staff in Abuja over imminent terrorist attacks. In a notice, the U.S. Department of State pledged to provide routine and emergency services to U.S. citizens in Nigeria. It advised them to keep a low profile and take advantage of commercial transportation options if they wish to depart Nigeria. In Sudan, dozens of demonstrators have been injured in Sudan in protests marking the first anniversary of the military takeover. The coup ended a transitional government which was meant to lead Sudan into elections. The country has been in political turmoil since, with repeated protests and talks between parties failing to produce results.
We want to return to a democratic civilian transition. The army should return to the barracks and militia groups should be dissolved. We don't want them to rule. They should know they are supposed to only preserve the country's security, not take over power.
We are out today to support the demand of a civilian government that came as a result of the revolution. It was leading the country to a democracy. We're not against the army as a whole, just some individuals. The army has been politicized, and if there are reforms made to it, we will not have any issues, because there is no country without an army.
The takeover has not produced a single good thing. The health and education sector are deteriorating, and there are more tribal conflicts. The social fabric of Sudan has been destroyed.
Still on the foreign scene, Germany's leader has called it a challenge for generations rebuilding Ukraine after Russia's invasion. European Union leaders have been meeting in Germany to lay out a plan for reconstruction which will cost hundreds of billions of dollars.
Die Zerstörung ist unermesslich.
The destruction is immeasurable. The suffering in the country is great. Estimates of the extent of the damage vary widely. It's probably already many hundreds of billions of euros. In the medium term, however, the issue will be reconstruction. The destroyed houses and roads will have to be rebuilt and factories repaired. This is a task for generations to come.
Our fast recovery plan is $17 billion for critical immediate reconstruction. These are hospitals, schools, vital transport and energy infrastructure. It is necessary to give people a new base for life already now. They have not yet received a single cent for the implementation of the fast recovery plan. I urge you to soon make the necessary decisions.
We know how difficult the economic situation is for Europeans and Americans. High inflation, high energy costs, high cost of living costs. This is where leadership comes in. This is where our political leaders have to have a very honest conversation with their citizens. And the message for me for this conference is the cost of helping Ukraine now is small in comparison to if Ukraine fails.
To sports. Colombia beats Nigeria via penalties to seal their spot in the final of the 2022 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in India. The game ended barren after regulation time and thus added for the penalties. Colombia then defeated the Flamingos 5-6 to grab their ticket for Sunday's final. The Nigerian ladies started the match on a good note, camping inside the Colombian first half in the first quarter of the game. They, however, lost the dominance later with the South Americans dictating their pace and were unlucky to rattle the woodwork in the 29th minute. Just before half-time, they scored, but the goal was chalked off for an offside in the build-up. The Colombians continued pushing for a goal with several bouts of attack, but the Nigerians kept them at bay.
And that's it. It's penalties to decide our first finalists. Players sink to the turf. They've given their... Now what is... No problem. One of the stars, Jack Offion. No mistake. And again, all the penalties have gone to that side so far. Successful so far. And likewise with their team. It's a familiar theme. Oh, saved! Strong hand from Chiwaki, saved and then retaken against the USA, but this one rolls into the back of the net. Does she go for power here? Placements, and it's perfect. A very important penalty, Afalabi. Puts Nigeria on the cusp of Sunday's final. Sado. Oh, how cool was that? This is to win it. And it is the player who scored the success. Can't bear to watch, but is this Nigeria's moment? No! Edafe has missed. The goalkeeper may have got a fingertip onto the post, but it never looked like he was travelling inside. Scores. And now the pressure. And it's going to be Oyen Lola. But that was... And scores. Full credit to left foot. No problem. Moment. Follow and show then. A save by Agudelo. And Colombia are through 6-5 in the penalty shootout. When Nigeria...
The Colombians will now play the winner of the other semi-final clash between European heavyweight Spain and Germany. And still talking sport, President Muhammadu Buhari has flagged off the Touch of Unity movement, signifying the commencement of the 21st National Sports Festival, NSF, tagged Delta 2022. At the ceremony in the Presidential Villa, Abuja, the President expressed his delight over the forthcoming festival, which he described as the engine room for producing great champions that will represent the country at international competitions. He said all outstanding stars that have written the name of the country in gold were born out of the National Sports Festival, which clearly shows that the resources government is investing in sporting activities is not a waste. While reiterating his administration's commitment to the development of sport in the country, he explained that sports has remained a unifying platform for Nigerians, and as such, government will continue to invest in it. And with that, we conclude the news tonight. But before we go, a quick look at the top stories. Two business outfits in Okitipupa and Ore have been sealed off by the Ondo State government for non-remittance of their taxes. The Federal High Court ordered the federal government to restore Nnamdi Kanu to his status quo before 19th June and pay him damages to the tune of 500 million naira. And from the foreign scene, we informed you that dozens of protesters have been injured in Sudan following protests against military takeover in the country. In sports, Nigeria's Flamingos have crashed out from the 2022 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in India, losing to Colombia after a 5-6 defeat in a game that ended in penalties. And that's the news. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.